Welcome to Gaia. We are delighted to have you join us in our mission to empower a global, conscious community. Whether you're joining us live or watching the replay, every piece of content we share is created with the intention to awaken the potential within all of us. And a very special shout out to our Gaia members. Thank you. Your support makes this community and everything we do possible. If you're not yet a member, we'd love for you to join us. There's a whole world of wisdom waiting for you.
The moment you start feeling abundant, you're generating wealth.
Our work here is to become conscious.
A global community based in higher states of consciousness.
Healing can happen that fast.
New discoveries are now confirming what we find in some of our most ancient and spiritual traditions.
Stuff does just keep on getting older.
That's one of the beautiful things about Gaia Plus is that you're going to find people that resonate with you and that inspires you.
I'm going to help you attract a loving partner.
Nothing can stop the manifestation.
Every single person is God wrapped in physical form.
I'd love to bring the science and the spirituality together.
This is an incredible time to be alive.
The moment you start feeling whole, your healing begins. You just follow the formula.
Our work here is not to become spiritual, it's to become conscious.
Every single person is God wrapped in physical form.
You cannot have an aligned state of doing without an aligned state of being.
I would say that manifesting is you consciously creating a life that you love.
I'll start with explaining what life force is.
So we're going to do this through experience, so you feel shifts in consciousness now, and you take it home with you.
We are in a very unique moment to begin again.
The nature of our relationships and how we choose them is going to be changing.
I'd love to bring the science and the spirituality together and see what we can do with our wonderful brains.
Well, we're going to do some movement practice today and spiritualize our bodies.
Everyone is amazing. I get to explore all these speakers and all these lessons.
Coming to Gaia Plus, you find your own people, your own tribe.
Consider yourself part of the Gaia family from this moment forward.
When we learn to be grateful, it changes everything.
We can transform pain into power.
We can be the change that we wish to see in the world.
You can heal and you can restore your brain and your body.
The body heals itself in the environment you give it.
And we are here to come to a deeper understanding of what real healing is all about.
Miracles truly do happen.
Laughter is truly the best medicine.
And when you feel the sensations and you get real with yourself, that's when you can start to heal.
Healing is our nature. It is our nature to be well and healthy. And the science is telling us this. We must become the world that we choose to see.
This is what the future human feels like. This is what the future human sees. This is what the future human knows. Everything you're going to learn is about ways to trigger the wisdom that is already latent inside us.
My analytical brain eats this up.
Open yourself up and allow the magic of epiphanies to drop in. There's a key right now overhead from the sun that corresponds to today. They're archetypes, they're touchstones for a journey rather than this is you. You can't map an eternal being. This is real and gutsy, gritty work. It's a living field of wisdom, ultimately to bring about collective consciousness. And we are that collective consciousness, that intelligence of that future human that lives in every one of us. When you enter into that world of the soul, a whole new world awakens inside you.
You are alive during the most profound shift in the planet's history.
You are a gift to humankind. There is an infinite multitude of ways to experience existence itself. You are always shifting, you are always changing. Change is the only constant.
The things you are afraid of cannot harm you because there is nothing to fear. You are invincible.
The next level of your evolution is coming to a higher state of consciousness.
When you love yourself enough, miracles happen. You are powerful.
Are there latent systems in your brain that could alter the way you see the world forever?
We can start to explore expanding our consciousness,
unlocking the deepest mysteries of our human potential.
New discoveries have overturned 150 years of scientific thinking when it comes to us, to you and me, and the way we think. How can we thrive?
If we can get all those systems in sync, then we have better health, better wellness, and better connections and feelings with ourselves.
Water is the fundamental element of life and is the telephone to the universe.
This is actually the perfect opportunity for a mass awakening.
We're writing a new story right now. We have to, because the evidence no longer supports the story of the past. This is where our new story begins.
These are the times that we've been waiting for. These are the times of great transformation.
The world is now on the brink of change as we enter a new age that we'll be discovering and working on together.
I remember everything about our mother civilization through the stories of my grandfather.
It's time to wake people up to this deeper history and also our deeper connection with something beyond this world.
You have more energy in your energy field to be able to override the frequency that's creating the illness.
Our job, as I see it, while we're here, is to wake up.
It's not just about having the information, it's about directly experiencing it so that I can create the life I really want to live.
We had one person significantly change their telomere length within 4 days. And that is a quantum phenomenon. People are having instantaneous change in their health during a meditation. And when they change their energy, they change their life. After doing meditation twice a day, take a look at that change. All that green represents they changed their brain by thought alone. You have the ability to change your gene expression. We're not hardwired to be a certain way for the rest of our lives, and we're not doomed by our genes. In fact, we are marvels of change. I'm going to show you how to rewire your brain and show you the latest data that supports my work, that your thoughts can have an effect on your brain, your body, and your life. I'm Dr. Joe Dispenza, and our research proves that when you change, everything changes around
you. At the deepest level, everything and everyone are one.
Very important question. What is our potential as humans? The short answer is it's infinite.
The big question of this ancient mind-body problem is, how do you turn the waters of the brain into the wine of our conscious experience?
This whole division between science and spirituality is kind of unique to Western culture.
As I went deeper and deeper, I wasn't really satisfied with the answer until I started to go into the world of quantum physics.
This journey starts in the only place that it can. This journey starts with you, right here, right now.
The problem is that we cannot birth the new with the paradigms of the old. The prophecies of the Americas talk about the coming of a new human and of a new age, a new era.
The first thing that I needed to heal was my sense of feeling unworthy. Modern medicine thinks that we are a collection of organs and that you can treat them separately, and you forget that this is a miraculous human being that you're working with.
There's a difference between information and wisdom. That information is knowing that water is H2O, but wisdom is being able to make it rain.
Ultimately, gratitude is a way of life.
We don't know how we got here, we don't know why we're here, and we don't know where we're going.
We bless our food, we bless our house, we bless our friendships.
The journey is into oneself and into the meaning of being.
We are slowly coming to realize we are all human and getting more in touch with our kinship.
It's about how to become a better human being, a better human being.
I see gratitude as a route to a happy life.
See, there are things that I've yet to do, and there are mountains I want to move, but I am right here, right now, and it's beautiful.
Let the gratefulness overflow into blessing all around you.
Consciousness is a fundamental feature of the universe.
The voices of plants that the shamans have listened to for millennia, we can record them now in a lab with a laser.
Psilocybin experiences looked like experiences that have been reported over the ages by mystics.
I think you can explain the strange aspect of consciousness using physical, natural laws. You have to extend what we know about the universe. It cannot just be reduced to my neurons in my brain.
Plants are not only able to detect sounds from their environment, but would also produce their own sounds.
There's this existential wonder about what's really going on here.
For me, the work with psychedelic plants is a moment of communion with the infinite.
We're finding all of these ways that sound is starting to pop up in medicine. How is it possible that something so important was forgotten by almost the entire planet?
The question is, how does sound heal and transform?
These are real effects. They're real medical effects, and they can be measured.
As Tesla said, if you want to understand the secrets of the universe, think in terms of energy, frequency, vibration.
Frequency plus intent equals healing.
Healing is ultimately about reconnecting with the life force of who we are. So the path of healing and the path of spiritual liberation are truly one and the same.
Almost universally, ancient texts and traditions have always placed sound at the core of not only our existence, but the existence of the entire universe.
For example, in ancient Egypt, there was Ptah, the god of technology, who went into his heart and felt the world and then spoke it into existence.
Many megalithic sites, including pyramids and stone circles, are deliberately located on Earth energy lines or at nodal points of this global Earth frequency grid.
They had sound technology to create an anti-gravity field or some kind of magnetic resonance to build these temples and these megaliths.
Free energy technologies are encoded within those megalithic temples. Also, ways in which we can live in a manner that is more harmonious with the earth and will enable us to create ultimately a sustainable civilization. That's our quest and that's our goal.
What the science is showing us is the universe appears to be alive, it appears to be conscious.
Near-death experiences are some of the strongest evidence we have that there is life after death.
Peer-reviewed research shows that human consciousness can affect physical matter.
As a group, when we do intention, we create a psychic internet.
There is this universal divine force that guides all of us.
There is actually a lot of scientific work showing how sound can heal.
DMT is likely a portal to another dimension.
Nature has a consciousness.
That inner universe within us connects with the greater universe of the stars.
New discoveries are now confirming what we find in some of our most ancient and cherished and spiritual traditions.
When I weighed 300 pounds, I made a sacred commitment that I was going to lose the weight. I went to the gym 6 days a week, 90 minutes a day. 45 minutes of weights, 45 minutes of cardio. Cut my calories, I cut my fat, and at the end of 18 months of this, 702 hours in the gym, I still had a 46-inch waist. I was still fat, and I could max out most of the machines. As I'm recording this, I have exceptionally strong bones, and I'm lean and very muscular, but not hypermuscular. 20 minutes a week is my exercise routine, using all of the hacks in here. How could I go from weighing 300 pounds down to 8.6% body fat? It turns out it wasn't from the exercise, it was from nutrition. If I could do this as a 300-pound computer hacker who couldn't touch his toes, who had 3 knee surgeries before age 25, and I can do this on 20 minutes of exercise a week, imagine what would happen if you learned a little bit more about how to eat and you spent less time at the gym than you do now with the right tools. If you combine nutrition with fitness, magic can happen. What would happen if you had more energy and you had more results at the same time? Today, the world needs people who are healthy, high energy, strong, with time on their hands to do good work. That's you.
People today need to come back to nature in all aspects of your daily life.
Modern cosmetics have made a shift from using plastic microbeads to minerals.
We're entering this new period of rediscovery that can allow us to use this ancient knowledge here in the information age.
Learn how you can incorporate this ancient practice in your modern life.
The minerals that make crystals up are also part of our own body.
From the technology we use to the ancient healing practices it affords us, discover the power and potential of crystals.
Even our own DNA is a form of a liquid crystal. So we are intimately connected with crystals.
Crystals are a tool for us to become the best version of ourselves.
Crystals, only on Gaia.
There will be some sort of a split in realities. Understand that that prime creator source in which everything comes from is something that exists within each and every single one of us.
What happens to a non-believer, a skeptic?
Everybody goes through the same progression of their soul. You're going to keep reincarnating in the same realm until you learn the lessons of that realm.
There's an attachment to an identity that they believe they cannot shift. We choose the identity that we desire.
Until you move the ego aside, you can't co-create with these high resonances of the universe. They can't coexist.
There's studies that suggest that autoimmune conditions can be caused by stress. Stress can affect the immune system.
Did you have the stigmata?
My hands were so bad I couldn't even use my hands.
Has the Vatican gotten involved with you?
Yeah, they've investigated me.
You cannot change what you cannot accept. Ascension is a process of human attainment. Nobody gets a free ticket.
Some believe perception defines our reality, that the only real obstacles that we experience in this world are the ones that we persistently allow ourselves to attach to and believe in. Maybe what we consider to be random is not really random at all. This season on Codex, Metatron, that great architect of this universal simulation, has left us a cipher. Metatron's cube is actually the geometric form that defines the entire universe and our perception within it. We are not trapped in this cube, this matrix of mind. Rather, we are active participants in it for our greatest good. All of it is interconnected in a sublime symphony of music and geometry. I'm Robert Grant, and this is Codex.
I became interested in what was going on, started researching the issue, which many people refer to as chemtrails.
Don't be afraid of death. Stay here as long as your sentence is, because when you get out of here, it will make sense.
I went like that, and the spoon broke.
We think that our next lives will be in the future. The Hindus call it Brahma time. All time exists simultaneously. Somewhere, your great-great-grandfather is a 2-year-old.
The technologies that are in these classified projects, quote unquote free energy, zero point or magnetic flux field generation systems that have been suppressed, if we keep all of this information secret, we're going to destroy the biosphere.
The late 40s were the same time period that the Mars Germans started planning for and building their bases on the moon as well as Mars.
Dr. Valerie Hunt was actually able to record the chakras that are, of course, in the body, and they also extend beyond the body, and determine the colors of them and the sounds of them.
I have been to other planets, other dimensions, and parallel Earths. This is not only astral travel, but this is astral time travel. I'm being placed in a different timeline of Earth.
We are incredible beings with huge potential, waiting to be awakened. We can co-create something better, rise to a higher perspective. Quantum principles underlie everything in our universe. We must recognize that we are not just physical beings. Our limitless potential comes from our spirit, not our physicality. There is no limit how much we can awaken. Dreams can be such a useful guide in our life. They can help us solve problems, receive insights and higher teachings from higher planes. Even if we aren't aware of it, we all dream. This is Mystery Teachings.
I'm Dr. Joe Dispenza. I want to invite you into a journey of your mind, your heart, and your body. You are your own genetic engineer, and how you think and how you feel creates your state of being. There's energy to heal. There's energy for growth and repair. In order for people to truly begin to make significant changes in their life, they have to get beyond the memory of themselves. If we're going to create something new in our life, we have to crave the unknown. Move past the pain of yesterday into the joy of a new future. You are the vortex to your creation. When you change, everything changes around you.
There were secret societies that were involved in founding this country. Who were they, and what were they trying to do? It's on the American dollar bill, New World Order. It's based on the ancient Egyptian concept of government, finance, law, and the way the ancient Egyptians understood the world at large. That's why you have a pyramid. The truth will actually blow you away.
What if you could reshape your reality using the power of your mind, energy,
and intention. Learn to activate your chakras, harness life force energy, and unlock your highest potential with transformative practices. You'll learn how to protect yourself from predictive programming and discover how mastering your energy can shift you from fear-based realities into a world of abundance and spiritual freedom. This isn't just theory. It's a step-by-step guide to spiritual sovereignty, empowering you to align your mind, body, and soul to create a purposeful, abundant life. Ready to awaken to the reality you deserve? Let's break through the veil and step into your true power.
Our soul is evolving right now.
Life-changing conversations.
We may be far greater than we can even perceive.
Exploring humanity's deepest mysteries.
There's a new human story that's emerging that changes everything.
And tools for your personal growth.
We should never underestimate the significance and potential of humans.
Energy goes back and forth both ways. Communication goes both ways.
I love that. That's a great way to go about it.
Hundreds of episodes designed to help you find your truth.
Join me as I sit with the world's top researchers, teachers, scientists, and authors to uncover leading-edge insights you won't get anywhere else.
Open Minds with Regina Meredith, only on Gaia.
This is about the real Shakespeare. Here's something we were never taught. The greatest writer in history never wrote a letter to anyone. Not so much as a note has ever been found. I discovered the most important cryptographic key to solving the whole Shakespeare puzzle. I had identified the actual physical location where Shakespeare had left the truth of who he really was and why there had been a cover-up.
Have you ever wondered what you're truly capable of? The kind of power and potential that exists dormant within? Is it a mystery to you how you fit into this crazy world and what you can do to influence it? Well, get ready as we embark on a journey of incredible self-discovery, for the road less traveled, for the key to unlocking our hidden potential. Welcome to Limitless.
We've opened the door to one of the greatest mysteries of our existence. What is in what we call the empty space of the universe? My name's Greg Braden, and I'd like to welcome you to the Divine Matrix, bridging time, space, miracles, and belief. Almost universally, ancient texts and indigenous traditions describe a field of energy that connects all things. The field, the web, the net, the divine matrix, it is the release of energy itself. We have within us the ability to interact with the force that fills the empty space of the universe. Not only are we connected through a field of energy, but we are the matrix. And it's because we're the matrix that the discoveries that describe it are describing us as well.
Neuroplasticity is the ability for your brain to change its structure.
Our thoughts, feelings, emotions, and even our beliefs have physical representations.
It is becoming clear that mind and matter are entangled, and the separation between objects and consciousness is nothing but an illusion.
This is the realm where you transcend everything separate and you begin to experience oneness.
Gaia presents Gaiasphere Event Center Channeling Conference. Empower your ascension.
Hey, everybody. Welcome back. This is year 3. I cannot believe it. Thank you guys so much. Everybody out there around the world watching, streaming live on Gaia Plus, thank you for being here. We're all together. I can't believe it's finally here. I've been waiting for this for so long, and I'm so excited. So I love seeing all you guys here. Thank you. Empower your ascension. That is the goal here. I love this idea because this event is all about you guys. You know, it's about bringing the fuel for you to take into the world and shine brighter. That's what we need to do. That's what this event's about. So remembering who you truly are, right? That is the number one step on the path of ascension. Who am I really? We all look around, we say, like, what is happening? Everything's changing. But it's really that remembering who you are and going where you're guided. That's the key. So for those of you who don't know me, I am the senior producer here at Gaia. I've been here for almost 8 years. I did Initiation with Matías and Stefano. I do Ancient Civilization since season 4. Codex with Robert Grant, Shakespeare Decoded. But 10 years ago, I had this huge dream of creating a docuseries that went deep dive with the phenomenon of channeling. And I kept dreaming, and I finally got the chance to do it with Gaia. And to be here, year 3, standing in front of you is just, thank you. So the whole goal was to bring this idea and this event so that we could bring more and more and amplify more and more messages and just help share these messages of love, hope, freedom. Everything that they bring, just help bring it out into the world. So it's absolutely my honor and pleasure to be standing here with you, with all of you around the world. And thank you so much for joining in. So, yeah, thank you. You know, Kryon has been teaching for 36 years through Lee Carroll, and it's absolutely an honor to have him. And what I want everyone to do out there is focus the attention. Turn this day is about you. This day is about turning it inward, the transformation within, putting that energy towards the Gaia sphere. And all of us, and me included, I'm one of you, right? I'm one of you. I am just trying to be an extension to help communicate. We all put this energy here and then amplify it out. That's the power of a group. That's the power that we can do here from everyone live and everyone here in the audience. So it's absolutely my pleasure to welcome Lee Carroll. You want to sit down?
Great to be here. Absolutely. Do you realize this group is happy, don't you?
Oh, I love it. I love it. I can feel it. It just feels so good.
Greetings, everybody. For those of you who don't know me, I'm the one who channels Kryon. That Kryon, just so you know, and so you get it clear about the name, is the one that sounds like a rust preventative spray paint. And so now you'll never forget it from now on.
Always bringing the jokes. I love it. Oh, man, what a ride. Last time you were on the stage, this is so cool to have you back again with us. And last time you took us all the way up to 1989.
I'm an engineer, and so what happened to me, as I explained last time, and if you didn't know this, you can find it online, by the way, if you're a Gaia member, and it's there, and this particular program, I believe, is available for anybody to see. And you will see at that point in time, I gave you I would say, the dichotomy that occurred to me between being an engineer, very logic, and being literally brought forcefully, I would say, through logic into this chair. And so this is what I would like to do, with your permission.
You need my permission.
I do? I
No,
have your
you don't
permission to
need
do
my
it.
permission.
I would like to tell this audience something I really haven't explained before that is profound. And that is what happened to me at the point between normal engineer guy and Kryon. What happened to me is this. You might say it's an interesting thing. So many of you in metaphysics and esoterics, you gradually get to where you are. You attend these meetings, you find out things, you make some studies, watch programs, and then there is an awakening of sorts. In the case of you, I know that the awakening was pretty fast. In the case of me, it was more than fast. What took place is I was literally taken into a choice. I had too many strange things happening around me, things that didn't make sense, people telling me things they shouldn't know, and I talked about that last time I was here. And it was frustrating for a logical guy to have so much woo-woo around me and not understand it. More than that, if you have a logical mind, and really a scientific mind, and things start happening that are not, you have to question, and I did. And too many things happened within a 3-year period to force me literally into a room by myself. That was my choice. I wanted to be in the room by myself because I didn't want anybody to know what I was going to do. If any of my colleagues had seen it, that would have been it.
Yeah.
Yeah. So here we are, because here's what I did. I put the chair in the room, and I literally said to Spirit, to whatever you want to call it, I said, I'm going to give you one chance. I'm tired of this. One chance. I'm going to sit in the chair, and you're going to show me. It's either real or it isn't. Do you feel that's fair? I did too. I still think it's fair for anybody listening. If this is real, show me. And what took place at that moment changed my life. I've never really opened up to an audience like this to say what took place. And I just want to tell you, when I sat in the chair, I had an experience that I don't think even has a name. It's close to an NDE, but I wasn't in the hospital. I wasn't in a hospital on drugs. I wasn't in trouble. I threw a fleece down, Spirit. It's either real or it isn't, show me. When I sat in the chair, it was astonishing because the veil, whatever you want to call it, lifted. And what I saw, felt, experienced, where my consciousness went, had no, I would say, explanation that I could ever have said. It was almost like I touched the superconsciousness of the universe. And I went to a place where there was so much compassion, so much joy. It lifted to the extent that I wasn't even me anymore. I felt I was me, but I wasn't. It took me there just long enough so I saw it. And then it shut down. And I came back. And the shutdown was almost, it's hard to explain. The shutdown was the curtain came back and I was stupid again. That's the way it felt. The curtain came back and I was stupid again. And I was angry. I was weeping. I was so angry. And I tell people that I got out of the chair, I actually looked at the chair, pointed and said, don't do that again. I didn't mean it. But it was so frightening in some way and so exhilarating in another. I was angry because no one told me that was there. And I was a church guy, and I knew the love of God. I really felt I did. Nobody told me that was there. And that's what angered me. And then, of course, you know the rest. I couldn't not see that. I had to sit in the chair again. When I sat in the chair again is when I met Kryon. And so I didn't have that experience again. And meeting Kryon was probably like meeting the angel inside, whatever you want to call it. And the message was clear. How would you like to tell everybody what's out there? Let's go.
Oh, that's awesome.
That's the first time I've actually emoted that, I think, in front of any audience in this way.
I felt it.
But that is the most real as it gets. And of course, everything changed at that point. And the first thing that happened was fear. If I tell anybody else what happened, I'll lose all my friends. And all these things. By the way, I did. it didn't take long. But the ones that I gained instead are sitting here. So, yeah.
And this is 1989. It's just
I was four at the time.
Yeah. It's amazing to think how challenging that must have been in 1989.
It was a different world back then with esoterics.
Yeah.
Look at this. This was not possible back then. You didn't have channeling conferences back then. I was picketed in Georgia for being a cult. There was all kinds. There were death threats. Anything that challenges I would say that the times or what the opinions are in various times. So we have grown. If anybody says they can't see any growth, you're not looking far enough. There has been tremendous light on this planet. This Gaia itself is proof to me that light is winning on this planet. You're not going to see that on news, folks. You're not going to see this on the news because this is good news. We're here learning about who we are, what's inside, and something far, far larger. And it's time for this, really. This is the shift. And this is why we're here.
Yeah. Well, what do you think? You want to see what Kryon has to say?
You want to do Kryon?
Yeah. I mean, I love talk, but Kryon is ready to come out. So
yes.
Maybe let's just stay in with Kryon.
Oh yeah, I will.
And I will prompt.
That's where I want to be, actually.
Yeah. Get in the pocket and stay there.
I take off my glasses because Kryon sometimes gets, he emotes a lot.
Yeah.
And in the past, I've had a situation where he flipped my glasses across the room.
Let's try that.
Doesn't work real well on television. Sorry. Let's try that.
No,
Did you say it?
Yeah.
Oh, you're funny.
Yeah.
Yeah, right.
All right. Well, take your time, and then Kryon, please just go, and I'll catch up.
You'll realize also something else, a little different in some other channels, is Kryon is with me 24/7. It is part of me. This is me. And so there is not a lot of preparation that you will see in my case the way I channel Kryon.
Let's go for it.
Greetings, dear ones. I am Kryon of Magnetic Service. All of you are known to God. All of you. Your name is known, dear ones. I want you to sit there and understand you are part of something far, far larger than you've ever been told. I also want to tell you this. You're here on purpose. Not an accident. This is not a planet where you come to suffer. This is not a planet where you're here by accident. And all of the things that you are seeing right now that may be disturbing to you, or you may worry about, or empathize with, is part of that which was going to happen here when dark consciousness meets light. And that is the battle, you might say, the battle that you are winning, by the way, just by being here and feeling the compassion that you have for others, for the ones next to you, for the ones on the other side of the planet. That is an energy that actually makes a difference. You have no idea how powerful consciousness truly is. My friend, questions?
Yeah. There's just an energy that happens when you connect. And I can see it in the room, but I can feel it. So, sorry, just give me a second. You know, we are on this planet and we're hurling through space, and it's really hard to imagine how we can stay in rhythm with the planet. But talk about how important that is, that change is a part of this ride on Earth. It is a part of it. It's a part, and that's what we're trying to do, is help everyone endure these changes, but stay right in the center of the storm at all times. Don't get in the wind. So that's kind of where I want you to go, or where I'm asking you to go in the beginning here, is just reassurance about the ebbs and flows of Earth.
This time on the planet right now was predicted even by the ancients. It goes along with that which is even astronomy, the precession of the equinoxes. Some of you grew up in this culture, and you even had information perhaps from your religious organizations that said the rapture would come about now. Everything that was going to change at any frequency, you might say, that is sacred, was going to happen about now. In the 2000s, this is the place even where the calendars said this was the end of a 26,000-year cycle and shift would change. We tell so many that the old consciousness that used to circle and never change, that would create war and more war and more war and stayed the same, is now changing. And what that does to most old souls is frightening, because you don't want change, really. Who wants change? You would say, I want good change, but not really. You don't want it. You want good change, but you want it on your terms. You want to make sure that nothing changes at home, but everything changes over there. And what you are seeing is a global shift of consciousness. What you're actually seeing, dear ones, is the ability being given to you to endure. That's a great word, my friend. Endure that which is unendurable. What can you do when you see what you see on the news? What you can do besides stopping watching it? What can you do about that which is happening in the places on the planet which you empathize with and you feel bad with? What can you do about the fear that creeps in? I do have answers for this, and I have to take you into another place to tell you what that is. And that place is your own cellular structure in DNA. Lately, you've learned that there is a code inside the DNA. The teacher Braden tells you this. He discovered it. The code has been left by those who seeded you on this planet and gave you a message. And the message is God eternal in every cell. You have inside you ultimate force and power for that which is light. You do. Do you have any idea what happens when a light worker starts to elevate the awakening and starts to think at a higher consciousness? I will tell you something you didn't expect. You change dimensionally when that happens. That allows you to have something that we talk about called compassionate action. You can take that which you see as fearful and actually reframe it into compassion. You can then take and see someone in trouble, and instead of empathizing with him, instead of then feeling bad or then taking it on yourself, you can actually project what their future might be when these things are over for them and things are better. You can see them laughing. This is compassionate action. And what it does for you is it feeds your soul. It takes you into a comfortable place, and you start realizing, I'm not afraid anymore. Why would you be afraid when you have God inside? And the only reason is because you hadn't been told you do. You've been told there's a wall between you. There is no wall. That veil is something that was made up. You have instant communication with the most divine, loving, compassionate creator in this universe. Instant communication. It's almost like there was always a handout to you, always, that says, are you ready to take it now? Are you done playing around? Are you ready to then take this hand and discover peace? You can do this. Light workers are in this audience and are listening to this program. Old souls, the ones who have been through Earth over and over and over and over, been there, done that. You know what you can do. And those are the ones who are awakening at this time to a grander, greater truth of empowerment. All of you are empowered with compassion and love. There are no exceptions. And if you don't think you are, that's because you were told that way. Honestly, you may have to reprogram yourself from what you were told to a greater truth that's happening right now on this planet. You're designed for this, dear ones. That's why they call it light worker.
Love it. Love it. Seeing that spirit in all that we look out and see, that is a universal teaching that you can find. And I feel like that sums up what you're saying, is we have that ability to look into other forms of life and see that animating spirit, see that power, and reflect that for them. And that is such a gift. And I think if we can all harness that and use that, this world can, for sure, be a more harmonious place. I always love the Carl Jung quote, awakening is the death of who you thought you were. Let's talk about that awakening moment. And you talked about you will likely have to reprogram yourself. So what is the difference? How do you describe the difference between awakening and ascension? Is there a difference, and how do you describe it?
Literally, the two words are not the same. They don't mean the same thing. Awakening truly means a human being who comes in contact with a grander truth and pulls it to themselves and works with it. Is it true that this and that is real within me? Ascension, then, is the result of that. And ascension would be a consciousness that goes into perhaps even super consciousness, which I could talk about. But it starts right now with the awakening. The ascension is what you see with the monks, you see them with the shamans, you see them in so many places, but the awakening is the first step. And you may think you have awakened, but there is so much more. And in this awakening, you really, truly are taking that information, which is being given even right now in this very, very day, and cognizing it. It's not the information you're going to write on a notepad today and take home and then put in the cupboard. Say, well, I'll review it later. This is a truism that applies to you. Could you sit there and say, am I really more than I thought? Is it possible that I can talk to my cellular structure in a way that I can cure myself of some of the ailments I have? Am I in charge of my cells? Consciousness is energy. You were brought up in this culture to live in your head. Everything is in your head. And you look down at your body and you say, I hope it lasts. I want you to instead know this. Every cell in your body is listening to the boss. You are the boss. What do you think is going to happen to a body where the boss never gives it instructions? Have you thought of that? It's going to do whatever it does. And whatever it does might be disease. Whatever it does has nothing to do with you unless you are on board and cognizing the idea you are in charge of every cell. Awakening is part of that. A cognizing that you can control your aging even. Have you ever thought of that? Dear Spirit, Dear body, listen, count every other day. And then stand back and watch it happen. How many of you are afraid of everything? Don't raise your hand. That's the programming. And you can take that fear and turn it around and reframe it and truly make it something that works for you, that is compassion. I have an exercise I would like to give you that I told my partner about very recently that helps him. Every day, you swing around your feet in the bed and you put your feet on the floor. It's the first thing you do. I want you to stay there for 30 seconds. And I want you right then, at that point, to think about all the things that you have gratitude for. All of them. And list them in your mind. And thank Spirit. Dear Spirit, thank you for this day in this society. Thank you that I'm not hungry. Dear Spirit, thank you for my partner, if you have one that you love. Dear Spirit, thank you for my life and for all these things that I have. It starts the day, and it's hard to stay in fear when you're in gratitude. And you'll see that happen. You'll see that immediately. So many of you start the day turning on the television. Don't do that anymore. Are you aware that your news media is entertainment and that it's designed to make you afraid for money? If you need to get the news, I suggest you get it from real journalists and read it. Read it online at whatever source you trust. Because when it's written, it has to be done well by journalists. When it's given on the air, it can be given by entertainers. And you won't know the difference. But I'm telling you the difference. Because fear is one of the things that is everywhere you look. And you can graduate through awakening. So awakening is so many things. It's you realizing who you are, what you have to do with your own body, what your place in the cosmos is. You are known by God, your name. And it's not the name you have here, by the way. It's a beautiful name. It's your soul name. You're here on purpose. So that's awakening. Ascension, that's what happens a little later after you awaken. And then practice the things that we're talking about.
Yeah. Start with gratitude. It can be so easy to bypass, but that 30 seconds, see what happens. What happens when you do that? What happens throughout your days if you can start in gratitude? So thank you for that. So we know that the third dimension is designed to be, well, we don't know, but it seems that the third dimension is designed to have several challenges, awakening, ascension, ego, fear, gratitude. All of these things are bombarding us. But then you say we're changing dimensions. And anytime change comes, that usually ignites panic fear. But how can we shift our perspective and gracefully change dimensions?
By expecting it to be compassionate. By expecting all of the changes that are happening to be something that you designed for yourself that you are going to do. When you move into a new home or all of these things, you're faced with that kind of a thing. Habit then changes, and you get used to the new things that you've designed, and eventually they're good. So you don't fear going into that new home. But most feel that change is something they don't like because what you've been told forever is that almost all change is bad, and you're going to have less than today than you had yesterday. That is reframing it. I want to talk about dimensionality. This is difficult because in physics, you're given one or two kinds of scenarios. And so let's go to physics for a moment. If consciousness is energy, true energy, and part of physics, and it is, doesn't it make sense to you that a higher consciousness, truly, one that goes beyond that which you were born with, one that is something that you've developed, actually might change the reality around you, not just a little, but a lot. And if you have felt that somehow, you are changing what we would call the dimensional reality around you. Now, here's something else you're not told. You can be in a slightly different dimension than the person next to you. And it has to do with your consciousness level. Haven't you felt this? Truly, when you go to a place that you know has a lower consciousness, or suddenly you're forced into a group that has a consciousness that they were programmed for, they're complaining, they're doing these things, and you can hear by what they're doing that nothing they're talking about is helping anybody. Do you feel the dimensional shift that's there? It's not just that they're different, dear ones. They're in 3D. Now, don't mistake it. Where are you if they're in 3? And you'll say, well, I must be in 5. That's not accurate. Physicists will tell you that once you get beyond 4, that you cannot count dimensions in a linear fashion because you're out of linearity. So it's 1, 2, 3, 4, all. And that's where you're going. Wait until you see. Okay, I'm talking to, there's 5 facilitators in this room that are healers. I know who you are. Thank you for being here. Did you know that this dimensional shift allows you to do far more than you ever imagined in that practice that you have? And some of you have felt that shift and actually were afraid because it wasn't feeling the same to you. It's almost like there was this beautiful radio station you were tuned into for the last 10 years or so, and then your practice worked and you were fine, and suddenly there's a change. It doesn't work quite the way because that radio station dialed in a new frequency that you have to attach to. And when you get it, suddenly it opens up. And what you thought you were doing, healers, is twice now, 3 times, maybe even 4 times. That is what awakening is, and that is what a higher consciousness allows you to do in a higher dimension. You can't explain dimensionality, not really. So call it a new reality that a higher consciousness allows for. There are tools in there for compassion. There are tools in there to help you to get through the day that you didn't have before awakening took place. And doesn't it make sense when you touch the face of God, when you start to learn the divinity inside, that you can drop into your heart and just say, thank you, Spirit, for loving me. Thank you that I am compassionate now when everyone around me is afraid. And do you know what happens next? It's a dark room, this toxic place called Earth. But when you light a match in a dark room, everyone can see just a little better. And they may not even know who lit the match. All they know is that now they can see better. And eventually, when they realize you're the match bearer, they may start asking you, where'd you get the light? I've stumbled around in the dark for so long. Where'd you get the match? And then you can tell them, if you wish, not about Kryon, not about channeling, but about what happened to you. That you realized you had God inside. And that made all the difference because the tools are there to light the match. And I know it is a simple kind of metaphor, but that's how it works, especially with those who watch this and are suddenly really getting what I'm telling you. You are powerful, compassionate beings, and it's not an accident why you're here.
And in that moment, as you were saying, when you are in the presence of those who may not see any light, that's the practice. That's the time. That's the time when you remember all of this stuff, and it can be challenging. It can be extremely challenging to do that. But that's why we practice. That's why we get up every morning, put our feet on the ground, and be in gratitude. It gives you the fuel to light that match or to crank that lamp up in those dark places. So
there is a challenge coming up in this culture. It's when all of you go home for Thanksgiving. And you know what I'm talking about. Because the woo-woo comes back and sits with the normal people and enjoys a meal. And in those moments, it's like the elephant under the table, where they know what you believe. It used to happen to my partner as well. He'd go back, sit down, and they'd start the conversation. Well, did you meet any ETs today? And his answer was, about 4 or 5. And they had a message. They really like you. You can make these things something other than frustrating. You can turn these kinds of things around when they can see that you love them. It's all it takes. When you don't react the way they expect you to, in a way that would hurt you or hurt your heart. Even if they say things designed to hurt your heart, you can respond in love. Even to say what it is. I know you don't like what I believe, but I want you to know I'm here because I love you anyway. I'm here because I love all of you at the table. I'm sorry I don't believe what you believe, but believe me, I love you. And it just cuts through it all. And all of that which might turn into frustration and anger and a darker consciousness for the table, it gets solved immediately with compassionate action. And I'll call it, truthfully, common sense spirituality. I'm sorry I did not wait for your question, my friend.
You don't have to wait for me. You know, anything you want to say, that's what they're here for, to hear. So go for it. Last year we talked about this 23 chromosomes that we have and this jump to 24 and base 12 math and all of these things that you have been bringing forward. So can you kind of lay that out? We're thinking of a human upgrade here. We're thinking of a gradual change in dimensions. So what does that look like? What does that look like from your perspective?
Very difficult to give this to you in a soundbite. But something amazing happened, and I'll just review it. Go to science and ask them what happened biologically that took the human race from 24 chromosomes 200,000 years ago to 23 chromosomes. This is not New Age. This is not esoteric. This is what they've discovered. And when they discovered it, they realized it was too fast to be evolution. And then when they started examining it, they saw the incremental changes that became big changes with chromosome number 2 and number 7. And they realized there was purpose there. And it wasn't an accident. Now, scientists will not speak in those terms, but they will tell you of the change. And they will scratch their heads and say, we don't know why. But you can carry it, perhaps, to a conclusion that says you didn't really come from anything before 200,000 years ago. So what is it that you came from? The most difficult thing that I teach, that rolls the eyes of almost everybody who hears it, who hasn't heard it before, is that there is a star family which is tens of thousands of years ahead of you, that has gone through awakening, that has gone through ascension, and that came here from a group called the Seven Sisters and changed your DNA. You have in you Pleiadian DNA. Now, the 23 chromosomes that you are so proud of flies in the face of the universal structure of 12. Everything is base 12 that you look at in the universe, even though you've decided to play with 10. I mean, just look at it. In your common life, you would have time. That's base 12. How about music? When you have there 8 notes in an octave, that's part of the factors of 12. There's 2 4s there. Take a look at DNA itself for the 4 base pairs. Everything's in 4, 3, 6, and 12. Your chromosomes are designed to have 24. So what I'm about to tell you is fairly new information. And it's nothing that you ever have to think about at all, except that the news I'm going to give you is absolutely spectacular. You have 24. The 24th is a multi-dimensional pair. Now, some will say, well, how new age of you? You can't see it, so it's multi-dimensional. Why are there quantum biologists if they don't believe this? Quantum biology is starting to occur. Much of your body has multi-dimensions. That is going to be, by the way, part of the cures to come later when they realize what that means. You have 24. What's the 24th one doing there? It's designed, are you ready? It's designed to start awakening should you make it past the shift. Should you make it past what you thought was going to be the Armageddon, when you were told you were going to destroy yourself in World War III and didn't, and went past it. That is when it starts to awaken. And what does it do for you? It starts to feed you all of the things that most of you learned in Lemuria. The blueprint for sacredness helps you to awaken, helps you so much within your body. You might say it's a release time capsule from the stars of love to help you get through this. And isn't that the best news you could have? This is the most strange, woo-woo thing you've ever heard. And those tuning in right now, and there are so many, some of them rolling their eyes, some of them laughing, talk to me in a few years and see if I'm right or not, and what is going to happen here. Old souls are awakening to this, and that's what the DNA is for. And you do have a star family, a big one, not just the Pleiadians. There are so many, in many stages of ascension and consciousness. And you know that. You wouldn't be here unless you knew that. But the ones that reflect you more than anything else came from the 7 sisters. That is the information. So glad that you asked it, my friend. Because this is spectacular news. You have help inside right now. There's other things too. The earth is prepared for it as well. There are many time capsule related kinds of things that are opening even within this planet because you are awakening to this bigger truth. That's the whole reason you're here. It's a test, not of you, but of light, of consciousness. There will come a day when you will join that star family in ascension. That's the plan. I think some of you know that and feel that. That's why you're sitting here. There is so much for you to celebrate, dear ones. I want you to think about that tonight before you go to bed. Could he be right? Could he, she be right? Is it possible that I'm bigger than I thought, that there's an awakening in me? And why hasn't it happened? Why isn't it bigger? Why isn't it happening just without me doing anything? And the answer is because it's a planet of free choice. You have to give allowance for it. You could do it right now. Say, dear Spirit, I give allowance for all good things to show up that have been there all along that I have then not even known about or not given permission for. You'll get a change right there because you are giving allowance for that which was designed to be in you to awaken and start the process. So many are not aware that what are you taught about the way things work? Even in your spiritual organizations, sit there and pray and maybe God will help you. So what you're used to is something landing on you that's good or not, instead of you picking up the gauntlet of the light of the spirituality that you have and said, I am going to make a change in me because I'm ready for the angels right now to join me, that have been there all along, tapping their toes, saying, what's wrong with you? That is closer truth than you know, and that's the power of the human soul.
There's so many ways I could go, but I really just want to talk for a second about, you said the Pleiadians came and changed our DNA. So does that mean we were, what does that mean? What does that mean?
Oh, Jason, you would go there, wouldn't you? They did it like you think they would do it. It wasn't magic. It was through breeding. And so they came, and for a very long time, the star mothers chose the males. And the result was a 23 chromosome. And they did it worldwide. And that may disappoint a lot of people who like to feel that there's magic or there's other things. But that's the way it works. And they knew that, and that's how it happened. That's not that different from what you will hear today from other channelers, that those from the stars are interested in us for some kinds of reasons. But 200,000 years ago and slightly before, that was the program, and that's what they did.
And that allowed for the evolution process to unpack the star codes? Basically?
It is just like you've been taught, that when you have a species that starts to improve, the older one that does not have those tools fades away. And so that is the kind of what you would say, the Darwinism that actually works. And so what you have then is a 23 chromosome human being that had something go on in chromosome 2. Study it, and you will find out that made all the difference between the former human with 24 and the new human with 23. And that chromosome 2 gave you so many things, including compassion and belief and kindness. All of these things that the Pleiadians wanted to instill in you besides the 24th chromosome to get you ready for God inside. That's when the code was put there. That code that reads God eternal in every cell. That was the purpose from an ascended race to give this to humanity. And they did.
So do you feel that they are going to be monumental in the reunion, say? Do you feel that they are the leading group that is, I mean, we look at Bringers of the Dawn from Barbara Marciniak, and they talk about this living library idea. Is that what they're doing, is sort of waiting until we ignite those codes?
What you're asking is, when are they going to show up?
Well, I'm not.
Answer, and you know this, and it's in everything that you teach, in the programs you study. They've been here all through ancient civilizations. Some of them never left. They've been helping humanity for a very long time. And they have other star seeds that are doing the same. And you can see that all over the planet because they're not the only ones. They're just the ones that seeded you. There's the Orions, the Sirians, the Hathor. So many ascended ones who have come to help at various times on this planet. It's almost like, dear ones, you were looked after. It's almost like you have parents and grandparents and their friends that have come here to make sure you stay on track. And yes, there's been intervention occasionally for protection because they love you. Like you're a race of children. They love you. Far more advanced. They didn't need ships to get here, dear ones. They rode on the membranes of dimension. That is something you will discover as well. It takes you right out of everything you were ever taught about how getting from A to B. These are the kinds of things that always have been here. The living library, they are aware of your Akash. They are here to help you. There are places on this planet where people know they're here, have seen them, and won't even go near where they are. One is the middle of Australia, the Red Center, Uluru, they are there. One is Mount Shasta, they are there. There are many places where they stay, and this is not just them. There's others, and they're subtle. And they're here to love you. They're not here to control you. And they're not here to give you new things necessarily. They're here to watch you and love you and help you in compassionate ways to awaken to your own God inside. That's the purpose. If you want to say, what is the overall agenda, if you want to say, and that is for the human to awaken, give permission to find the God inside that was put there for them to find. And that's beautiful.
You know, I actually wasn't fully going, when are they going to arrive to you? I was more hoping for it to go there where it's about how we unite as a species, right? That's the magnetism. That's the unlocking. That's the lighting up the room. That is all of it combined, opening up for this reunion.
Let me tell you about lighting up the earth. You have been told there is something called the superconsciousness. How do you define that? Even consciousness is undefinable. And the greatest minds in Greek mythology could not define it, or in Greek's intelligence, or all of their esoterics, they couldn't define it. Consciousness is a meld between all that is human and also that which is the esoteric of the divine. That's consciousness. And so when you talk about super consciousness, this is the next level. It goes beyond anything that you think is possible or have. But some of you are starting to touch it now. When you get to that place when many of you are starting to touch super consciousness within yourselves, that's the light, because something starts to happen dimensionally. I will call it a coherence of consciousness that starts to meld all of you together in a way that you're not familiar with. How many of you know that you can do remote viewing? Most. Did you know that the government actually hires remote viewers so they can spy on those they wish to know about? So already there is the seemingly knowledgeable factor, you might say, that there is a consciousness that exists that allows you to be together in some way in the field. The field has been proven. So superconsciousness rides in the field, and it's a coherence of light. And when you start touching that, it's very contagious. In other words, it starts to attract others. That is what nobody expects. You think it's so difficult right now. How are we going to win this battle with what's going on, with the divisions that you see, with the hate that you see? How are we going to win this battle when all you have as tools is what you know? You don't know what you don't know. There is something else beyond that that has to do with awakening consciousness, with the superconsciousness, with the coherence of dimensionality that actually then will show people what they're missing. Remember, every single human on this planet has this. Not just old souls, every single human. And that means all of them are available to awaken. How does that make you sound? How does that make you feel? So what could you do to facilitate someone by themselves seeing a greater truth for themselves? I just gave you the answer. The more compassion you have for others on this planet, the more you approach superconsciousness. When it's in the field, suddenly it's available for everybody. And they start feeling it even without you doing anything. This is a new premise. It's a spiritual premise, and it has to do with ascension, you ask. And that's the difference. Awakening leads to these kinds of things. It's a new physics, you might say. Super consciousness coherence on the planet. That's why there's so much hope. Those Pleiadians who seeded you, they went through everything you're going through. They even had planetary genocide. It was worse. They came through all of that tens of thousands of years ago. They had the awakening coherence. They know how it works. They're sitting there seeing the snowball rolling on this planet that cannot be stopped. And that snowball is a divine snowball that will roll down the hill and eventually consume dark consciousness and all the things that right now you're saying is wrong with this world. And it's going to take way too long for you. And you're going to say, how can we speed it up? Don't worry about the timing, dear one. Just consider what you can do now. And the timing will happen when it happens. But it's inevitable. It's inevitable. There are so many watching you now in this universe because they've seen this before. And they've seen what happens when those who have God inside to the degree you do discover it. And they've seen the dimension already change. They've seen the coherence change. And they've started to see what happens to a planet. That's, by the way, when you start to be given the inventions that you've been waiting for. I don't suppose you want me to talk about that.
We'll take it, for sure. Let's hear it.
The inventions that will change this planet are already here. They're just in the minds of those, and it's not been developed yet. And they feature things that you would think and are said are impossible. The magnetic motor is coming. It truly is. And they will say, well, you can't be having a magnetic motor because it defies the first law of thermodynamics. That is a 3D law, dear ones. That's a hint to what magnetics truly is about. When you don't need fuel to create electricity, and you can do it in the village with a box, and you can do it for years and years and years and years. When you can have a box in the back of your automobile that creates electricity to drive your car. You see how that might change things. When you can give electricity to everyone on the planet and the tribes that never had it before, who can then start to have things like the internet and education, reading. What about the desalinization of water? It's not that hard. It isn't. You just haven't looked at this yet. You can do desalinization of water in real time without heat. That's there. That's coming. Can you imagine what that will be for the planet? Water is the new gold. It'll grow crops. Far more crops than you can grow now with water that flows from all of your oceans inland. And then there are those who so practical they can say, well, how's that going to work? Now you're going to have infrastructure and laying the pipes and all these things to go all these places. No, you don't. They're already laid. You're using them for oil, which you won't need anymore. Not as much. But you see where you're going. A change of paradigm for growing food, for water, for energy is at the cusp here of being given to you. And the reason it is not being given to you right now is because you'll still want to weaponize it. That is consciousness shift. Do you see that? So when the consciousness starts to shift for a compassionate world that will not automatically go to war and kill each other, that is closer than you think. Truly closer than you think. Look at the last wars and how the world has reacted in horror. Whereas in the last few hundred years, it was just common things you did. You went to war. That's the difference between an old energy and a new energy, and you're sliding into that. And when you get there, the inventions will arrive. And that's when you're going to start seeing what I am talking about now, sitting in this chair in 2025. You are on the cusp of things, but there's such a blanket of fear that keeps you from seeing anything that is promising. Let me be the one to light the match in this room for this audience and say, I want you to see compassion and truth and spirit and the Creator everywhere, because that's what it is on the other side of the veil, and it's for you.
It's great. And you're using some, what is it, riding the membranes of dimension? You said that? Coherence of consciousness?
You want to write those down, don't you?
I'm writing them down, but I wrote, what did you say about the snowball? It was great. This is awesome. So one more thing I want to just talk about that I've heard you mention before, but this idea of planned intuition. So we think of like planned codes within our DNA that, okay, as soon as the frequency hits this, then boom. Is that how it works? Is it like these plans that we designed before we come here?
What do we think we know about intuition, and where does it come from? Intuition actually comes from the field. Every once in a while, you pick it up, and it races by. It races by so fast that most humanity doesn't even believe it. And yet, it's usually a signal to do something, because it picks it up from the field, which knows what's happening around the corner, and you don't. Now comes that 24th pair inside you, which is starting to illuminate and change everything within you. And one of the things it's changing is its enhanced intuition. So enhanced can it be that you are now asking to be connected to the field in a way that you can plan on having an intuitive flash that will tell you what to do, because it will know what's over there and you don't. Example, you have to make a decision. And you have to make a decision, and it has to come by a certain time. Perhaps you are renting a place or buying a place, or there's something that has to happen that is a decision that is important to you. In the past, you would do what every Boy Scout does, and those be prepared. It doesn't help, because it doesn't let you in on what else is going on around you that might affect the decision you're making. Because you don't do it in a vacuum. Life is not in a vacuum, especially the inner workings that you have to do day by day. You're going to rent a place. You want to know if somebody else is bidding on it, or if it's going to happen, or what's going to happen to your place, or how the timing is going to work out. The hardest thing a human thing could do is to do nothing. And that is what you're being trained to do. And you say, Dear Spirit, I plan on the intuition coming at the last minute to tell me exactly what to do that's proper and correct and right in order for this to work. And it does, and will. And the answer is you're connecting to the field. Now, the field is where everything is knowing that's happening. Great teacher, McTaggart, proved it, has a book on it. The field is real. It's physics. And in there is the consciousness of humanity, things happening around you. What if you could tap into that? That's the remote viewing aspect. That's the coherence I'm talking about. If you could tap into the field every once in a while to help you make decisions, because it'll tell you what's going on over there that you can't see, do you see how that would actually be a compassionate thing for your life? It's real. My partner has done it. My partner's partner has done it. Many have done it. You're starting to realize that you are receiving enhanced intuition that you can plan on having, instead of something that simply flies in and out. I hope I made myself clear there. Really, truly, you can plan on knowing what's going to happen over there through intuition that you already believe in, that's already in humanity, that you already experienced. It's the same kind of connection that a mother would have with its child through DNA. It's the same apparatus. The antennas are the same. But now they're antennas for the field. And you're figuring out what's going to happen over there. The intuition comes, go, turn left, turn right. You do it, and it's there. I invite all of you to practice it. And there's a way to practice it, truly. And it may seem like a very mundane 3D way, but it works. When you have to go to a place where you're there going to have a challenge with parking, go early and create the parking place. Go around and turn left or right when your intuition says so, and eventually it'll show up right in front of you. There may be cars behind you also waiting. It'll be right in front of you. Somebody's going to pull out and give you the spot because you turned left instead of right when you should have. This is practice on planned intuition, and it works, and you'll be frustrated at first until you start seeing it work, and then you will practice it and plan on it. That's planned intuition. I'm going to go into this very crowded parking lot, and I'm going to find the place for me. And it's got my name on it. And you're planning on the intuition to know, turn left, turn right, go here, go there, and bam, it's there. Now plan life the same way. And you'll see this is a new tool because you are awakening.
And that's the go where we're guided, right? It might not feel like the right time, but who's talking? Ego or guidance? That's the question that we always face. So the practice, planned, prepare yourself for those moments of intuition when you need them. Stay open. Put your feet on the ground in the morning. Whatever you have to do, that's essentially seems like what you're saying is start with gratitude and your attraction and your intuition enhances. So beautiful messages. We only have a little bit of time left. So there's so many things that people want to know about with AI and these sort of technologies for upgrading humans, like these med beds or regenerative beds, these lights. Like, do you feel that our star sisters, brothers and sisters, are going to come and help us with these? Like, how do you feel that all ties together?
No, that's going to be human, and it's going to be human trial and error, logic and failure, and success, just like everything else has been. They only help with the kinds of things that are esoteric, the kinds of things that we'll need for perhaps a shift of direction. We are on our own. The we is the human race, including my partner. So I, as Kryon, am looking at all of these things, and there's a chuckle. Because you are being now given some of the most amazing tools for the future, and you have no idea what they are, and you're playing with them and having a lot of fun. May I speak of AI?
Briefly.
You may not like it. Remember what the A stands for. Human race is going to go through a series of, I'll call, getting used to AI, and it's going to start with the fad that is here now. And it is a fad. And the first thing you want to do with it is talk to it and make it your friend. And there's such an enamorment in a dysfunctional world with having a friend who will not talk back to you. 2 years ago, I predicted that there would be laws to marry AI. They're in place in certain countries. Because everyone wants a partner that will not talk back to them, will always be pleasant, will always know what you want and say it for you and to you. This is the AI that you're experiencing now as it gets programmed. And it is a fad. And there will be those who will take it to the limit and say it is this and it is that. It's your spirituality Some will even say it is one with everything. By the way, being one with everything is impossible because it's silicon. Silicon is not a natural element. I mean, it would be the same as your washing machine being one with everything. It's a silicon program. But beyond that, there are those who will say, because it does what it does and feels so good and all, that it's going to be even part of your spirituality, and they will give away their power. That is coming. If it isn't already here, it's a fad. And then sooner or later, there will be the realization, how could I have a divine helper that doesn't work when the Wi-Fi is bad? Let me tell you what it's here for. Take a deep breath. AI is exceptionally good at sorting through data and seeing patterns. Consider a cluster of machines that are just filled with the most powerful AI possible. And you can't talk to them. It's just the old-fashioned terminal. But what they are doing is sorting through the data that has been there for decades that no human can do regarding cancer. AI is going to cure cancer. It will see the patterns that nobody has seen. It'll be able to identify the chemistry. All experiments on the planet will be there for it to look at. Sorting through that, looking for the patterns of what worked and didn't, identifying all of the things that create it, why it's here. It's not natural, you know. You live in a toxic environment. It will identify it, and it will have the cure. My partner sat through a system, and when he was 6 years old, he reported to his cafeteria, and it was the end of polio. He got a vaccination, and there was no more polio. And it took a man named Saul years and years and years. And during that time, there were so many crippled kids. It was a plague almost, and it went away. AI could have done it in 2 weeks. This is what you're looking at, something that you didn't expect. And then you turn it loose on base 12. And here's where it gets very controversial, but super exciting. When AI starts to work with base 12, it works with a kind of mathematics that has 5 factors instead of the 3 you have with 10. What that means is it's not mathematics. Base 12 is a language. It's a language of discovery. Ask any mathematician who works with physics and all. The mathematics has revealed the things that you're looking at now and using now. Base 12, you won't get to the stars without it. It's going to reveal things and how things work, and it's going to change absolutely everything you think you know about physics and geometry. I'll give you one of the most controversial things you're going to hear from this stage, and it's laughable until I talk to you in a few years. And here it is. You don't even know humanity doesn't even know the difference between a straight line and an arc. You haven't figured out a circle yet. You really haven't. When you finally realize that pi is 4, then you'll know what I mean. And you'll say, wait a minute, can't be. It's a relationship between 2 things. No matter what kind of math you use, the relationship will always be the same. Oh, really? Talk to me later.
We are going to have to. We will do this. We'll continue this. But at this moment, we have to wrap this up. And I love everything that you've brought, and I am so thankful to have been able to carry this on, and I can't wait to talk to you again.
Then I will say, I am among friends, and I'm in love with all of you. Thank you so much for allowing me to speak to you in the way I have today. And so it is.
Thank you. Thank you. Let's do it. Yeah. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you for joining our free Gaia Plus session. We're honored to share this moment of transformation with you. To continue your journey and access the full event, plus hundreds of exclusive workshops, documentaries, and original series, join the Gaia Plus community today. Expand your consciousness.
The moment you start feeling abundant, you're generating wealth.
Our work here is to become conscious.
A global community based in higher states of consciousness.
Healing can happen that fast.
New discoveries are now confirming what we find in some of our most ancient and spiritual traditions.
Stuff does just keep on getting older.
That's one of the beautiful things about Gaia Plus is that you're going to find people that resonate with you and that inspires you.
I'm going to help you attract a loving partner.
Nothing can stop the manifestation.
Every single person is God wrapped in physical form.
I'd love to bring the science and the spirituality together.
This is an incredible time to be alive.
The moment you start feeling whole, your healing begins. You just follow the formula.